We've all been taught to view time as a straight-linear sequence of moments ticking forward from past to present to future. But what if that's just an illusion? What if time, as we experience it, is only one interpretation among many possible realities? In truth, modern physics has long challenged our traditional views of time. Einstein's theory of relativity showed us that time is not fixed. It bends and stretches, depending on speed and gravity. From this perspective, past, present, and future all exist simultaneously, like frames in a film reel. You don't see them all at once, but that doesn't mean they aren't there. Now, let's take that even further. What if time isn't something you move through, but something that moves through you? What if your perception of time is more like tuning into different frequencies of reality? Just as a radio picks up stations based on frequency, your consciousness might be shifting between moments depending on your internal state, your focus, your emotions, even your beliefs. This shift in thinking has deep implications. If time isn't linear, then cause and effect aren't strictly chained. What you believe or feel right now could ripple both forward and backward across your timeline. Your future self may already exist in potential and is subtly influencing you in the present, just as your present self may be healing your past. It's not about fantasy, it's about perception. Time may not be a straight river, but a vast ocean, and your awareness is the boat, navigating not by flow but by vibration. The way we typically see time might be a trick of the nervous system, a habit of the mind. But just beneath that surface lies something far more mysterious and empowering. So what if time doesn't flow the way you think? Maybe it's not about waiting for the future to come. Maybe it's about tuning into the version of yourself that's already living it. If time isn't a single forward-moving stream, then your memories aren't just echoes of what's gone. They might be bridges to moments that are still alive in a larger field of experience. Think about how a scent, a song, or a sudden feeling can bring the past rushing back so vividly you almost relive it. Perhaps you're not just remembering. Perhaps you're tuning in to another point on a timeless spectrum. Similarly, the future might not be a blank canvas waiting to be painted. It might already exist in countless potential forms, each vibrating with possibility. Your choices, feelings, and intentions aren't simply pushing you toward that future. They're tuning you into the version of it that matches your internal state. In this view, time is less like an arrow and more like a set of coordinates. In a vast energetic landscape, this also means your present self isn't isolated. You are constantly in conversation with both your past and future selves. That pull you feel toward something unknown, intuition, a flash of insight, may be guidance from the version of you who has already crossed the bridge you're approaching. Likewise, your moments of doubt or fear could be ripples from unhealed parts of your timeline calling out for attention. If time doesn't flow the way you think, then healing isn't just about letting go of the past, it's about changing the energetic signature of the present so it resonates across all versions of your story. And manifesting isn't about waiting for something new to arrive. It's about aligning your frequency now with the timeline where your desired reality already exists. Time then becomes less a constraint and more a tool, a fluid dimension you can navigate by adjusting your inner state. The question is no longer when will my future arrive, but who am I becoming right now, and what reality am I tuning into by being this version of me? If time is not the linear march we assumed, then every moment you experience now is woven into a larger tapestry that is neither beginning nor end. The mind prefers to organize life into past, present, and future, But what if those divisions are arbitrary? Instead of seeing time as a road, imagine it as a vast sphere in which every possibility already exists, waiting for your awareness to illuminate it. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are the lanterns guiding you through this timeless sphere. When you feel stuck in regret or fear, you are shining your light on timelines that reflect that energy back to you. But when you shift into gratitude, curiosity, or love, you light up paths filled with opportunity and expansion. This is not just philosophy, it's a new way of being. In this model, you don't just heal the past, you communicate with it. You don't simply wish for the future, you merge with it now. And rather than waiting for time to bring you something new, you become the new version of yourself that inhabits the reality you desire. Time, then, becomes the canvas, and your consciousness, the painter, shaping the picture by the quality of your vibration. So ask yourself, if time isn't flowing from yesterday to tomorrow, but exists as a timeless ocean of potential, what are you choosing to focus on? Which version of yourself are you stepping into by your choices today? Because the truth is, you're not just living in time, you're creating how time feels by how you choose to feel in this moment. If time is more like an ocean of possibilities rather than a river, then what you call the present moment is simply the point where your awareness meets the infinite. Every fear you hold, every hope you nurture, is like casting a line into this ocean, pulling in a version of reality that matches the frequency of your focus. This means that changing your life doesn't begin with changing the outside world, but with shifting the way you relate to time itself. Instead of seeing the future as something you wait for, consider it as something that responds to the signals you emit now. Your body, your breath, your thoughts, they are all instruments tuning into different streams of potential. This is why sometimes you can think positive thoughts and repeat affirmations but still feel stuck beneath the words. Your vibration remains attached to doubt, fear, or unworthiness, and the ocean of time reflects exactly that state back at you. But when you become truly coherent, when your thoughts, emotions, and body are aligned in trust and knowing the timelines, you connect to begin to shift. So rather than striving or forcing change, begin by noticing what frequency you are broadcasting. How do you feel when you imagine the future? Do you carry the weight of the past or the lightness of possibility? Because time is not just something happening to you, it is something responding to you, like a mirror reflecting your state of being. We've been raised in a world that worships logic and dismisses intuition. We're told to think our way to success, strategize every move, and believe that the mind alone holds the key to our future. But if time doesn't flow the way we think, then the heart might be more than just a vessel for emotions. It could be our compass in a non-linear reality. You see, the mind operates in sequence. It sees time as past, present, and future step by step. But the heart feels everything at once. It holds memories, longings, and truths that exist beyond words or reason. When the mind says not yet, the heart often whispers, already here. This disconnection between what we think and what we feel is why so many people experience a delay between their intentions and their manifestations. They visualize abundance but feel scarcity. They affirm love but carry wounds. And so their energy sends mixed signals into the field of time, which reflects back confusion and stagnation. But what happens when we restore balance? When we allow the heart to guide and the mind to support? Suddenly, the flow of time becomes more fluid. Events line up. Moments feel meaningful. The future no longer feels distant, feels inevitable. So perhaps the real shift isn't in controlling time, but in aligning with the version of you that already exists within it. The one who doesn't force change, but allows it. The one who trusts that the right timeline appears when the inner state is ready to receive it. Because time doesn't reward effort alone, it mirrors coherence. And coherence begins when the mind and heart speak the same language. Imagine if every possibility you dream of already exists, not in the distant future, but as a vibration you can access now. What if time isn't something you travel through, but a landscape you navigate by shifting your frequency? In this view, you're not waiting for your future self to become real. You're tuning into the timeline where that self already lives. Think about how some days feel effortless, as if the universe is conspiring in your favor, while others seem stuck and heavy. This isn't random, it's a reflection of your state of being. When you shift into gratitude, presence, and trust, you start to match the vibration of timelines where things flow. When you slip into fear or doubt, you tune into timelines where resistance grows. This means manifestation isn't about forcing the world to change. It's about changing the version of yourself that the world reflects. The universe responds, not to your words alone, but to your coherence. So the key isn't pushing harder, but aligning deeper, letting the version of you who already lives your dreams lead the way. Because maybe time isn't an arrow. You chase it's a mirror reflecting who you are being right now. If time doesn't flow the way you think, then you aren't a passive traveler on its river. You are the one steering the boat by the frequency you hold. The moments you experience aren't arriving in a set sequence. They are responding to who you are now. When you worry about the future, you aren't just fearing something distant. You are shifting yourself into a version of reality that contains more of what you fear. When you relax into trust and presence, you begin to connect with timelines where things unfold with grace. This is why your state of being is the most powerful tool you have. You can't always control external circumstances, but you can choose how you meet each moment, and by choosing to hold a vibration of peace, gratitude, or love, you tune your consciousness into a dimension of time where those feelings are reflected back. So maybe the real work isn't about changing time, about changing how you show up in the now, because what you embody today becomes the seed for the reality you step into tomorrow. And perhaps the biggest illusion of time is the belief that you must wait for something outside you to shift before you can feel free, loved, or fulfilled. In truth, when you become the frequency of what you desire, time brings you more of it naturally. If time isn't linear, but a field of endless potential, then your future isn't waiting to happen, it's waiting to be chosen. Every thought, every feeling, every act of presence sends out a vibrational signal that selects from the infinite possibilities available in the quantum field. In this way, you aren't just moving through time. You are shaping which version of time you experience. Most people believe they need to wait, strive, or prove themselves worthy of what they desire. But in a non-linear universe, waiting only signals lack, and the field reflects that lack back. True transformation happens when you embody the energy of your desired outcome now. When you shift from wishing to being, you collapse timelines and draw those realities into the present. So the question becomes, what version of yourself are you willing to become? Right here, right now. Because the field isn't listening to your words, it's responding to your vibration. And when your vibration aligns with what you seek, time itself rearranges to match your new state of being. If time is not a rigid path but a field of probabilities, then your future is not something you wait for, it's something you create by the way you feel, think, and act in each moment, instead of seeing yourself as a passenger carried forward by time. Imagine you are the conductor, choosing which song plays by the energy you emit. This shift is more than philosophy, it's a practical guide to manifestation. When you dwell in fear or doubt, you align with timelines where obstacles persist. But when you tune into gratitude and certainty, you open paths where life unfolds with flow. The future doesn't respond to your words or desires. Alone it responds to the vibration of your being. So rather than hoping time will bring change, realize you are the change. Your frequency is the signal the universe mirrors back, and every moment is a chance to choose the vibration that aligns with the reality you want to experience. Time isn't pushing you forward, it's waiting for you to tune in. If time isn't flowing from past to future, but unfolding in a vast field of infinite possibilities, then every moment becomes a doorway to a new timeline. The idea that you must wait for life to change is just a habit of perception. In reality, when you shift your inner state, your feelings, your beliefs, your energy, you step into a different version of reality that was always there, waiting for you to tune in. This means you don't need to chase your dreams across the years. You can become the version of yourself that already lives those dreams, right here, right now. When you embody that frequency, the universe doesn't hesitate, reflects it immediately, because the field is neutral and precise, responding not to what you say you want, but to who you are being. So perhaps time doesn't need to flow at all. Maybe it's you who flows, moment to moment, through the tapestry of possibility, choosing which version of reality to call home by how you feel and act today. If time isn't a forward-moving stream, but a field you can navigate by vibration, then every breath you take is a chance to shift timelines. Most people assume change takes time, but what if it actually takes alignment? What if the reason things seem slow is because we're waiting, hoping, and doubting frequencies that only keep us stuck in the same loop? When you embody the feeling of already living the reality you want, you become the magnetic point through which that timeline appears. It doesn't happen because you forced it. It happens because you've become coherent with a version of yourself that already has it. So instead of asking, when will it happen? Ask, who am I choosing to be right now? Because the moment you choose, you shift. And when you shift, time bends around you, reflecting the change back, not as a reward, but as a mirror of your vibration. If time isn't something external you pass through, but an internal reflection of your frequency, then presence becomes your greatest power. Every moment you fully inhabit isn't just a pause between past and future, it's a portal to transformation. When you are deeply present, unclouded by fear of the past or worry about the future, you access a state beyond time where possibility expands. Most people live in delay. They wait for signs, results, or conditions to shift before they allow themselves to feel peace, joy, or confidence. But what if it works the other way round? What if the moment you choose the feeling, the reality begins to rearrange? Not because time has passed, but because your signal has changed. You see, presence isn't passive, it's creative. It's a signal to the field that says, I am ready now. And in that readiness, timelines converge, opportunities appear, and clarity arrives, not through effort, but through coherence. So if time doesn't actually flow the way you think, maybe the most powerful thing you can do isn't to plan your future, but to fully embody who you are in this exact moment. Because from that state of being, the version of reality that matches you will have no choice but to meet you here. If time isn't a line, but a web of interconnected possibilities, then the version of reality you experience isn't determined by external events, it's determined by the internal signal you send. Most of us were taught to believe that time moves in one direction and that we must chase our dreams through it. But what if the dream already exists in a parallel timeline, and your job is not to pursue it, but to match it? Your emotions, thoughts, and choices are not just reactions to time, they are selectors of time. Every moment, you are choosing which thread of the web to walk on. And that choice is made not with logic alone, but with energy. The future you desire, one filled with love, abundance, peace, or creativity's already real somewhere in the field. It's waiting for your alignment. That's why surrender is so powerful. Not surrender as giving up, but surrender as letting go of resistance. When you release the need to control how and when things arrive, your vibration rises. You step out of scarcity and into trust. And from that elevated state, you shift timelines, not by effort, but by embodiment. So maybe time doesn't carry you to your destiny. Maybe you carry time. You shape its flow by the rhythm of your breath, the clarity of your intention, and the depth of your presence. And when you become the one who no longer waits, the timeline that holds your dream no longer waits, either it meets you now. If time isn't a river flowing forward, but a vast field you navigate by vibration, then the power you hold isn't in waiting, it's in choosing. What you think of as the future is already present in the quantum field as potential. Each potential timeline is like a song playing quietly in the background. The moment you tune your energy to match its frequency, that song becomes your reality. This is why presence is the foundation of transformation. When you are fully here, without projecting fear into the future or replaying pain from the past, you open yourself to new possibilities. The future no longer drifts toward you, you step into it. And the way you step into it is by becoming the version of you who already lives there. You don't have to force or beg for change. You simply align with it. When you shift your frequency, time responds instantly, not because time moves faster, but because you move into the timeline where your desired outcome already exists. This isn't magic. It's the natural law of vibration. So maybe the real question isn't about when your future will arrive, but how ready you are to become the person who welcomes it today.